The Guianas may just be the strangest region on Earth. Despite being located in the northeast corner of South America and bordering Brazil and Venezuela, they're not really influenced by their neighbors at all. So what makes the Guianas so different? The Guianas are made up of 3 countries: Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Altogether, the region covers a total area of 468,000 square kilometers, making it slightly larger than the state of California. Situated on the South American plate and running along the Atlantic Ocean to the north, the Guianas are physically isolated from the rest of South America due to the existence of what is known as the Guiana Shield. The Guiana Shield refers to the one-of-a-kind geographic nature of the region, stemming back a staggering 2 billion years. Having gone through a series of unique geologic events since the Precambrian era, the Guiana Shield is defined by its incredible combination of topographical features. As a result, the countries of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana find themselves trapped inside, geologically isolated from their neighbors. The Guiana Shield offers many unique geographic features, most notably its awe-inspiring tabletop mountains, known as tepuas. These enormous slabs of rock, with straight cliff faces on all sides, tower over the region of western Guyana, dwarfing its neighboring mountains in an area known as the Guiana Highlands. Since the Guiana Shield is so challenging to access, an endless amount of rainforest has been able to develop over time, almost completely untouched by humans. Approximately 80 to 90% of the Guianas is covered in a thick, inhospitable maze of rainforest. This rainforest is so dense that it's practically impossible for people to live in the interior of either Guyana, Suriname, or French Guiana. As a result, it's one of the least inhabited places in the entire world. To add to the strange nature of the Guianas, there are multiple savannas across the region. These savannas are essentially the opposite of the rainforest biome, which dominates the area. They're quite barren and flat, and look more suited to Africa rather than South America. The Rupununi Savanna, which stretches out to the border with Brazil in southwest Guyana, highlights this unique biome. Within the rainforest lies a vast network of rivers and streams. These intricately connected bodies of water all flow northward before entering the Atlantic Ocean. This includes the region's biggest river, the Essequibo, which begins at the Brazilian border at the far south of Guyana and runs the entire length of the country, finishing its course at the Atlantic Ocean just west of the nation's capital city of Georgetown. The rivers are known to be treacherous to navigate due to their unpredictable rapids. Also, there are countless sandbars at the entrance to the rivers, making it extremely challenging to travel through. The soil across the 3 countries is soft and marshy due to the extensive river network, making it highly impractical to walk through the interior of most of the region. So naturally, since the land can't be navigated by either foot or boat, it is unsurprising that the only area suitable for large-scale human habitation is along the Atlantic coast. This is where the vast majority of the population live. The coastline is more hospitable due to a large series of canals dug across the 3 countries' coastlines. These canals have helped regulate the water flow along the coastal areas, in turn, hardening the soils, making them more ideal for construction. This is largely why the 3 capital cities, Georgetown, Paramaribo, and Cayenne, are all situated beside the Atlantic Ocean. The Guianas are incredibly challenging to travel through, which is a primary reason why the Spanish wanted nothing to do with them. The first known people to have occupied the area were native groups thousands of years ago, one being known as the Arawak people, and the other referred to as Carib Indians. Because of the region's challenging terrain to the south, these groups would have likely traveled back and forth from the Guianas to the Caribbean islands in the north. This created a highly diverse and pluralistic culture in the region. These groups were the first to notice just how many rivers were in the Guianas, and referred to the region as Land of Many Waters, which is where the Guianas gets its name from today. The first recorded European discovery of the Guianas was by Christopher Columbus in 1498, though he didn't actually set foot on the land. Because of how challenging the landmass is to navigate, it wasn't until 1594, almost 100 years later, that the area was properly explored by the British statesman and explorer, Sir Walter Raleigh. Following this, over the course of the 17th century, 3 European empires, the British, the French, and the Dutch, all established colonies, which were used as trading posts in the area along the Atlantic coast. The British founded British Guiana, now Guyana. The Dutch founded Dutch Guiana, now known as Suriname, while the French founded French Guiana. At the same time, there was also Spanish Guiana, which is now part of Venezuela, as well as Portuguese Guiana, which today is the Brazilian state of Amapá. Way before all of this had happened, the Spanish and Portuguese empires had signed the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494, where they split the Western Hemisphere in two on a map and both claimed one half of the region. According to this treaty, the Guianas were considered part of Spain. As a testament to just how difficult the area is to navigate, the Spanish simply didn't consider the Guianas to be worth their time, choosing to focus on other parts of South America instead. This is why, centuries later, the British, Dutch, and French were able to enter with little pushback from the Spanish. These three empires fought constant wars against each other, with the Guianas regularly changing hands between the three. This was the case until 1814 when the Treaty of London was signed. In this deal, the three countries officially recognized each other's territories, and the wars in the Guianas came to a close. Throughout the 17th and 18th century, these three empires had been operating sugar plantations in the Guianas and shipping the sugar back to Europe. They carried this out through the use of enslavement. The transatlantic enslavement trade brought an estimated 10 to 15 million Africans across the Atlantic Ocean into the Americas, with a huge number of victims being brought to the Guianas. There were so many enslaved Africans in the Guianas that, at one point, the African population outnumbered the white population on a scale of 3 to 1. At the same time, many native people from the Guianas and the Caribbean were also forced into enslavement by these empires. As they were forced to live and work together, these different ethnic groups began to merge, creating a new Afro-Caribbean culture in the process. At different stages of the 1800s, the three empires in the region each abolished slavery. Britain was the first to end slavery, passing the Slavery Abolition Act in 1833. Next, the French abolished slavery in 1848. Finally, the Dutch Empire ended slavery in Dutch Guiana in 1873. After this, each empire brought its indentured servants to take the place of enslaved people and continue the harvesting of sugar. An indentured servant was a person who held more rights than an enslaved person, but ultimately had to work under inhumane conditions for long periods of time. These indentured servants were brought in from other colonies all over the world, such as India, China, and Java. Eventually, the Guianas became one of the most ethnically and culturally diverse places on Earth, which is still the case today. Today, the Guianas, with its total combined population of about 1.7 million people, boasts a broad set of extremely unique cultures. Guyana and Suriname both became independent countries in 1966 and 1975 respectively. Meanwhile, French Guiana is legally considered to be an overseas department and region of France, and is thus the most Euro-influenced of the three. French Guiana, at 84,000 square kilometers in size, as well as holding a small population of about 290,000 people, uses the euro as its currency, and its people are all considered to be EU citizens. As a result of being a French territory, this officially means that Brazil is the country which holds the longest land border with France, at a length of 730 kilometers. Outside of Europe, Suriname is the only country in the world to have Dutch as its only official language. It is South America's smallest independent country in terms of both size and population, coming in at 163,000 square kilometers and boasting a small population of just over 632,000 people. Remember, French Guiana is not independent. Suriname has embraced its endless mix of cultures, and its capital city of Paramaribo has become world famous for its food, as it has something on the menu from just about every corner of the world. In the 21st century, Suriname is a hotspot for ecotourism, with people traveling to the country to explore all of the geographic wonders that the Guiana Shield has to offer. Suriname even holds the world record for being the most heavily forested country in the world, with a staggering 90% of the country being covered by rainforest, making it a nature lover's dream travel destination. Finally, Guyana is the only English-speaking country in all of South America. It is both the largest and most populated country in the Guianas. At a size of 214,000 square kilometers, it is ironically almost the exact same size as Britain itself. And the country holds a population of over 800,000 people. The racial diversity of the Guianas cannot be understated. The most common ethnicity today in both Guyana and Suriname is not white or even black. The most common ethnicity is instead Indian, as there is a huge number of people descended from indentured servants who originally came from the Indian subcontinent. After this, there are large populations of black, white, Chinese, and Indonesian people. In French Guiana, people of African descent are the most common demographic. but the country also holds a big mixture of other ethnicities as well. A large demographic that spans across all three areas is the Amerindian people. This refers to the indigenous people who are both native and Caribbean descent. The connection between the Guianas and the Caribbean is so great that Guyana and Suriname are both members of CARICOM, the Caribbean Community and Commons Market. This allows greater economic and social ties between the member states and acts as a testament to just how inherently entwined the Guianas are with the Caribbean islands. They are inseparable. The Guianas are a very strange place, all things considered. If the region's geography had been more accessible and navigable, then it's highly likely that the Spanish would have colonized the region. In turn, this would have prevented the British, Dutch, and French from ever establishing themselves in the area, and the course of history would have been changed. To this day, the Guianas aren't culturally South American because they were rejected by the Spanish hundreds of years ago. But what was once the unwanted child of South America has since morphed into a unique melting pot of cultures. The Guianas are not South American. They are Caribbean. They are Indian. They are African. They are European. They're the Guianas. Hopefully I get to travel to the Guianas someday, but that's not today. Instead, I'm in southern Vietnam, and you can come join me over on my other channel. I hope you enjoyed learning all about the Guianas. If you did, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want another video, check out this one on the unique demographics of Taiwan. Thanks for watching. See you next time.